Hi guys, it's Sheena from Teton Raptor Center and I'm here to give you all this week's patient update. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start things off by highlighting our recent releases. This is Swainson's Hawk 810, and this bird came in due to a fractured pelvis that has since healed. We also were able to release our Peregrine Falcon, however, we do not have a video of it, but just know he is free. Moving on to our current patients, this is Red-tailed Hawk 914, and this juvenile was found emaciated in Idaho Falls. He's currently eating 3 small meals a day until he's stable enough to be able to digest a full meal, but he's still living in our heated oxygen unit as he's quite weak and frail, but we plan to move him into an ICU enclosure over the weekend. Next is juvenile Cooper's Hawk 913. This bird came from Victor, Idaho after being found with a heavy ectoparasite load in and around his right ear. We carefully removed all of the parasites from his ear, gave him a dose of ivermectin to get rid of any stragglers, provided supportive care, and now this bird is on the mend. He'll be moving out of the ICU this weekend and into a small enclosure where he's going to have a lot more space. Next up is Swainson's Hawk 912, and this juvenile came in from Driggs, Idaho, and has been diagnosed on x-ray with a fractured scapula. We anticipate that this fracture will heal well with cage rest, and he is living in our ICU while he recovers. Next up is Long-eared Owl 911, and this long-eared owl was admitted from Bondurant, Wyoming with a fractured humerus. The bird underwent surgery this week and is recovering in our ICU. Here's a short video of us hand feeding him small bites of food since he is not eating on his own quite yet. Here we have Cooper's Hawk 910, and this juvenile came from Evanston, Wyoming after he flew into a window. He suffered a fractured coracoid and mild head trauma, but the bird is currently in our ICU getting rest and receiving anti-inflammatory medication to help relieve any pain or swelling. Next up is female American Kestrel 9-8, and this bird came from Rigby, Idaho with a fractured ulna. She had surgery last week and is recovering in our ICU. The pin alignment that has been surgically placed into the ulna looks great, and she has remained feisty and alert. Next up is Cooper's Hawk 9-5, and this bird was admitted from Wilson, Wyoming with a coracoid fracture and mild head trauma. He's recently moved out of the ICU, and here he is in his small PCU enclosure where he can begin to be a little bit more mobile. Since we don't want him flying around too much though, he does have limited perching options so that he can stay relatively still in the mew. Next is Swainson's Hawk 831, and this juvenile came from Etna, Wyoming and has been diagnosed with a nutritional issue due to emaciation and torticollis. Torticollis is a problem where a bird tilts their head, and it can range from mild to aggressive. You can see in this photo that he is tilting his head, and so we're currently providing daily physical therapy for him in hopes that we improve the head tilt. Here we have juvenile red-tailed Hawk 830. And this bird was found in Jackson, Wyoming, unable to fly away because he was weak and emaciated. He has since gained weight and has moved into an enclosure in our flight barn where he has begun live prey testing in order to improve his hunting skills. Next up is Swainson's Hawk 826, and this juvenile bird came from Victor, Idaho due to emaciation. He's finally reached a healthy weight and is now living in our flight barn where he's gearing up for release. This photo was taken immediately after placing the bird in the flight barn, and you can see he's got his defensive posture going, which is exactly what we want to see from a wild bird like this. And you can also see how great of condition his feathers are in. Here we have Cooper's Hawk 825, and this juvenile bird came from Evanston, Wyoming after he flew into a window. The bird suffered mild head trauma and trauma to the left wing, but although we don't see any obvious fractures, there is still a wing droop, so we're hoping that with more cage rest, the wing droop will resolve. Next up is Swainson's Hawk 823, and this juvenile bird was admitted from Victor, Idaho with a fractured clavicle and coracoid. Both fractures are towards the end stage of the healing process, and soon this bird will be able to move into the flight barn for flight conditioning. Here we have juvenile golden eagle 822, and this bird came from Teutonia, Idaho and is gearing up for release back out into the wild. He's flying really well in our flight barn, but just needs to build up a little bit more endurance before he'll be ready. And here in this photo, we are practicing a blood draw on this bird to get a blood chemistry so that we can further evaluate his well-being. Next up, we have Golden Eagle 8.5, and this juvenile was admitted from Newcastle, Wyoming, and unfortunately will never regain vision in his left eye, which is the eye facing the camera. Staff have deemed him suitable for placement at another facility as an education bird, and we're currently providing positive reinforcement training where food serves as the main reward. Last but not least is our adult female great gray owl. This is Great Gray 8.4, and this bird was hit by a car in Moran, Wyoming. Her coracoid fracture has healed rather poorly, and so right now we're consulting with an orthopedic specialist on how to proceed. We hope that with enough physical therapy, this bird will still be releasable. All right, that's all we've got for this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I look forward to talking with you all next week. Bye!